My friends, what are we celebrating at the Seder? Is it actually a holiday of freedom? Did we really become a free people forevermore? What about all the empires who tortured us, the monarchs who sought to kill us? What about the cruel Inquisition, the bloody Crusades, the infamous pogroms, and the mass holocausts? When Jews risked their lives and made a Seder during those difficult times, how did they understand the Haggadah? Were they truly free men? And what about today in 2023? We don't suffer physical persecution anymore, but it certainly seems like we're enslaved in other ways, with addictions rampant, social media taking over our lives, and the obsession over making another holy dollar. So what good is a 3,000-year-old Exodus? Rabbi Yehuda Loewy, the famous Maral of Prague, gives a deep and penetrating answer, which my father Olav Hashalom would often repeat. Yetzias Mitzrayim was not about a geographical change of location or a physical transfer of power. When our ancestors were taken out of Egypt, Egypt and everything it represents was also taken out of them. Their very makeup was changed forever. They got a new gene, a new DNA. The DNA that transcends natural order, the DNA that's connected to the eternal God, and therefore is never truly affected by circumstance. From now on, any subjugation they might experience would only be something imposed from without and temporary, and could never change their core from within. It was March 28, 1945, in the notorious Mauthausen concentration camp. It was the first night of Pesach, and young Sinai knew it. Just a year before, he had sat at a Seder with his parents and family. Now, they had all been murdered by the Nazis in Machshemam, and he was all alone in the world. He wanted and needed to commemorate the holiday, but he had absolutely nothing. So he approached a friend and said, "We remember parts of the Haggadah. Let's at least say what we remember together." They began to recite the story, but he found himself asking troubling questions. Hey lachma anya, here is the bread of affliction that our fathers ate in Egypt. At least they had bread. I have nothing. Shebechol haleilos anu oichlin, on all nights we eat. Actually, in the camp, on most nights we don't eat. Avadim hayinu lefaro b'Mitzrayim, we were slaves to Pharaoh in Egypt. What do you mean we were? We still are. But then, as he said the next words, Vayetzienu Hashem Elokeinu Misham, and Hashem our God took us out from there, somehow those words gave him comfort. He knew he would survive. And in that moment, he offered a silent prayer. Please God, let me get out of this situation. Let me get out of this hell, so I can celebrate Pesach the way it's supposed to be. Indeed, by the next Pesach in 1946, Sinai had reunited with his brother Matisyahu, and together they made a Seder in the land of Israel. Sinai went on to study in yeshiva, and ultimately became the first chief rabbi of Ashdod, Israel, Rabbi Sinai Adler. In the darkest of moments, Rabbi Adler knew the real truth. Our bodies may be in exile, but our soul and spirit never die. But what if we don't feel it? What if we're bogged down by life's challenges and we can't get in touch with our inner freedom? For this, the Rambam is our role model. The Talmud says that in every generation, chayev adam lirot et atzmo. A person is obligated to see himself as though he went out of Egypt. But when the Rambam codified this statement into his book of Jewish law, he made a subtle change. Instead of lirois es atzmai, to see himself, he wrote laharois es atzmai, to show himself as though he went out of Egypt. I think the Rambam is saying that by acting outwardly like a free and royal person, you can actually become one. That's why the Seder is held in a regal and magnanimous setting. The table is decked with luxurious vessels, and we recline like kings. Lahares, act like it. Show the world you're free, and you will feel it on the inside as well. Wishing you and yours a Chag Pesach Kasher v'Sameach, a happy and kosher Pesach, and Lashana Haba B'Yerushalayim.